Alright. So, we'll go back to defining, but we're just going to review the article. We're going to make a few connections to the book, and then we're going to finish the book today. This was awesome. And then I have a few minutes to say some things that you guys have taught me this year, which I'm really excited about. Okay. Guys, can you take out this article and then this packet?
Hey, Miss, I don't have it either October.
Miss, which one is that back to me?
It looks like
De
this.
ayer, Lel.
Yeah, yeah.
Friends, take these two things out. Guys, take it out.
Sí, el que está en el folder.
Este.
Ajá.
Ah, tremenda hueva.
Alright. And so I'll take your stuff out.
Tremenda hueva.
Alright, good. Does anyone need an article?
Miss, I have a question. When is this packet due?
It's going to be Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. But you don't have to do anything in the package. It's just helpful. You will not be turning it in.
Oh. So you don't need it.
No, oh, you need it. You need it.
Nunca había manejado.
Alright.
No.
¿Manejaste ya, Lel?
La Leli no me le subo un carro ni por el
Okay.
Eso puede ser
So-
un motor.
Okay, stay back.
Quiero ver un
I know everyone's getting out their articles, but as we learn about human trafficking, as we learn about this young girl forced into marriage, let me give you a few facts on what human trafficking is. Wendell? Who can read this statistic for us?
Go on.
Yeah, Wendell.
There are in statistics, 25 million adults and 13 million children around the world who are victims of human trafficking. That's how you say it?
Trafficking.
Trafficking, 80% of victims are exploited sexually.
Yes.
That's
All
right.
right. So human trafficking is like the buying and selling of people. So as if you were going to the store, you buy a soda, right? You give them money, you get your soda, Marcella. Human trafficking is the buying and selling of humans. So this is done for labor, for work. Like people will be sold as a slave to do work and get paid nothing, or they are sex slaves. So this is really sad, but it's true. So many people who are like trafficked are being used for sex. Okay?
Oh my gosh. Oh my
Being
goodness.
Yeah. I'll explain why I'm wearing this informal shirt in a second. Zayas, can you read this for us?
80% of those sold into sexual slavery are under 24, and some are young and 6 years old.
Yeah.
Do you know?
You're okay?
Nothing happened. I just want to give us like a few seconds to like reflect on this.
Oh, I thought,
Oh.
I thought they finished.
Oh no, you finished. So I just want us to think about this. So millions of people are trafficked. Someone
Anyway.
remind me, Wanda, what does it mean again if someone is trafficked?
Silent.
Sally.
Exchange.
Yeah, they're sold. What'd you say? They're in chain. They're exchanged, right? Right? And then some people are just 6 years old who are sold. This is happening in our world today. Leslie, can you read this for us? This is hard, I know.
Okay, Leli, go ahead, go ahead.
I can't read that, miss.
You don't want too hard to read?
I can see it, miss.
Okay, Intercell.
More than 30% trafficking in 2008 involved children being sold into the sex industry.
Yes, right. So, like millions, Wendell told us like 27 million people are being sold in our world today. This happens in Boston. Rainer, join us. It happens in South Station. Has anyone been to South Station on the Red Line?
Yeah.
You have, Leslie?
Welcome.
Yeah. So that's a place where like many people are traveling and like a lot of young women come in, very vulnerable, and are sold into like forced to be prostitutes, right? So of the 27 million that Wandel told us, Zayas told us that 80% is for sex, and then 30% are children. If you're not forced to work, it's like to have sex. Yeah. So as we look at this article and we just read words on a page, this is like the reality of what we are working with. And it's not join us. Okay. Does anyone feel, I know I'm moving fast, but does anyone feel like depressed at this reality? It's so sad. Yeah. I encourage you to learn more about this. We'll be talking more about this. But this is an amazing organization that helps fight like children who are sold for sex. I'm wearing the shirt because my sister Catherine bought it for me for Christmas.
Oh yeah?
Yes, a few years ago. And it's called Love 146. And they fight human trafficking all over the world. They do incredible work. I encourage you to check them out. So we learned some statistics. Let's just look at the article, learn a little bit more about this girl we've been talking about. Okay, does everyone have an article? Everyone have an article?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, take 2 minutes, and then I want you to underline the answers to these 2 questions in your article.
Yeah.
Right? How old was the man who wanted to marry the girl, and what did her parents get?
No, it's like,
Wait.
Miss, it doesn't say the age of the man.
it's like the age of the girl.
Yes, it says there's a word in English that doesn't say his number age, but it says his kind of age. It's in the article. Yes. Yeah.
Huh?
Middle age.
But what
Fumi's
is
right.
age?
He is middle-aged. Underline that in your article. You're ready to take out your article.
What?
Do you have it? You have a pen?
Huh?
Do this. You have a pen?
Parents.
Use this highlighter instead. Don't be in the face. Very good. I see people underlining. Oh, do you want another one? You want me to give it to you?
Uy, vos te calmas.
Okay. Zayas, did you find it?
Full, okay?
Did you find it? What else did you find it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see. Yeah. Alright, but we'll do 10 more seconds.
Van a volver a lo que.
Just a little bit early. Alright guys, Fuming shared, but tell us again, how old was this man who wanted to marry the girl?
13. Oh, the man?
Yeah,
Middle age.
he was middle-aged. How old is a middle-aged man?
40.
Like 35.
Maybe 35. Well, what age do we die at normally?
70.
Yeah, maybe 70 or 80.
120.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe
So-
25.
99.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah, 150. 150.
So about 40 to 50 is like a middle-aged man. What did the parents get for?
Money.
Yes, they got money, right?
Dinero.
They said, here's the daughter, they get money. All right, a couple more.
Show what they said is done.
What, Rita?
Show what they said they done. They said.
Yes, they sold her. Guys, take 1 minute to find the answer from the article here.
What times were?
1 minute. What did her husband force her to do during the marriage?
Said.
Underline the answer in the article though.
They said.
Yes, find it in the article. 1 minute.
Second line. Second paragraph.
Underline
Got
it.
it. I got it, brother.
I asked you if you got it. I'm
Eso no fue lo que le. Eso no es.
¿Cómo sí?
Mira, él canta, él está un-
Bueno.
Pero eso es lo que lo obligó, él lo obligó a trabajar, teniéndose ese otro. No, ese fue lo que le hizo.
Ah, you got it?
Yeah. Yeah. Good, 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 good.
What's up? What's up?
Because he said, he
She
was the
was
line
forced to get in the room, right?
No,
No.
sí, no,
He
abuela.
was forced to have sex with the
That's
When she
that's-
refused, she got.
That's also part of the of that. Yeah, it is. It is.
¿Por qué ponerla?
Entonces,
Ella tenía que.
Alright guys, let's
No,
stop there.
Casi tiene que ser.
One sec. Friends, what's the answer to this question? What did her husband force her to do after marriage, Leslie?
She was supposed to have sex with other men, and when she refused to have sex, she got beaten. Beat up.
She was beaten.
We got the idea.
Okay. Now, oops,
Y eso, amigo, tú viste.
don't worry about
Uy,
it.
otra vez,
Don't worry
pero-
about it.
Oh, pero tiene como 15 fotos de Anuel, que tú lo pones.
Do not worry, do not worry. There will be time.
Ahora.
So, there will be time. Point being is that
Y que lo que
Cállense, Dios mío.
Point being is that as we learn more and Mr. Day explains more about what this writing is about, you guys are going to take a stance about children being forced to have sex. So one person might say it's awful, but we're advocating whatever position you want about child slavery. Last question, does anyone remember why the parents come? Does anyone remember why the parents sold their daughter? What was the reason they did it?
They need money.
But can you be more specific?
Hold on.
To give food to her siblings.
Yeah, friends, repeat after me. Siblings.
Siblings,
Right. What are siblings?
brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Like, they're from the same mother and father.
Exactly. Same mother and father. So that makes it a little bit more complicated, right? Because does part of you want to say the parents are terrible? How could they sell their own child?
Selling.
They're selling their child, but they did it to feed the family, right?
But the money is gonna go
Pletino,
over. Gonna end
pletino.
up some-
La leche sí.
You guys will talk more, and you'll learn more about this. Right now, let's open the book to page 110, okay? Let's see what happens to Eli and his father. We'll finish the book. Go to page 110. We need the book. Leslie, go to page 110.
There you
So
go.
I'm gonna read all of them for you.
So, you have to go editing.
Mind your business.
All right, thank you, Cami. Thank you, Wendell. Thank you, Fumi. Page 110. All right. Okay. So friends, we're at the middle of page 110.
Page 110.
Okay. 110. Now it says, one question, 110. Real quick, how is the father doing?
So bad.
So
Dying.
bad. He's
Oh, bad.
dying. The father's dying. All right.
Miss,
I'll tell you after. I want to read now. But we can look at it. All right, guys. So it says, a week went by like that. Is this your father? Asked the broadcast.
no, that's my dad.
Yes, he is very sick. The doctor won't do anything for him. He looked me straight in the eye. The doctor cannot do anything for him, and neither can you. He placed his big, hairy hand on my shoulder, and he added, listen to me, kid. Don't forget that you are in a concentration camp. In this place, it is every man for himself. You cannot think of others, not even your father. In this place, there is no such thing as father, brother, friend. Each of us lives and dies alone. Let me give you good advice. Stop giving your ration or piece of bread and soup to your old father. You cannot help him anymore, and you are hurting yourself. In fact, you should be getting his rations of soup. I listened to him without interrupting. He was right. I thought deep down, not daring to admit it to myself, too late to save your old father. You could have 2 rations of bread, 2 rations of soup. It was only a fraction of a second. but it left me feeling guilty. I ran to get some soup, and I brought it to my father. But he did not want it. All he wanted was water. Let me stop real fast. Guys, remember we talked about betrayal yesterday? To betray. What does it mean to betray again? Someone tell us? How do you say betray in Spanish? Traicionar.
Traicionar.
Yeah?
When
To
you
betray.
betray somebody.
Yeah. Guys, can you quickly go to page 8 of your packet? We'll take a note together that will help you write the paper.
In Chinese, it's 出卖.
Oh, thank you.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, and that's written down. Guys, I want you to go to page 8 of your packet. Not your independent reading packet, but the night final packet. Guys, you have that? Guys, come on.
Oh yeah.
So, in this, we're on page 8. And I want to say, I'm looking for betrayal, right? Because for the paper, you guys are going to make connections from the book to the article. Just answer yes or no. Is one perspective that in the article, the parents betray their daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just read on page 106, what does Eli want to do with his father for a second? What does
Get
he,
rid of
yeah. So, and specifically, what to do with food?
eat it. Don't give it to people.
Okay. So I want you friends, I want you to write this as I write this, okay? Last page of your packet.
Sure.
But in this one, Miss,
Not the independent reading packet, the night final.
I
Join
get
us.
rid.
The night final packet looks like this.
Paquete,
Flash you have it?
Ven, por favor, el
Can you get one
modelo.
over there? Next to the door.
independent reading.
Esto, mira, la última.
Looks like this. Yes, I'll take this out. Good.
Eso.
Don't say it.
¿Sí, en serio?
I don't know if I give to you. It's right next to the door.
Ah, pues, nada.
Mike no tiene que hacer la 9 de las 8.
Miss, ¿dónde que lo
¿Cómo
vamos a
ahí?
copiar?
So this is what I want you
Miss,
to.
you should have put it, you gotta put it more big.
Okay.
Lo parto por el verde. No.
Right there.
So this is what I want you to write right now. Eli is tempted to.
Where?
Miss, give me ideas.
Eli is tempted to take his father's, copy this down, his father's
¿Cómo lo voy a
food.
copiar si tú estás en medio?
You got it.
To what?
To take his father's food. Page 106, I want you to write this down. Because this is an example of Eli maybe like betraying his father.
Oh, what's the name?
I know. Good, Wendell's copying, Leslie's copying,
Great.
Greg is, Fuming is, Laura, you got this?
Maní.
Here, Bias. Or Rush, you have this night final packet? Okay, take it out. Yeah. So this, we wrote this because there's a parallel. It's like, I kind of want to betray my dad, one perspective is. In the article, the parents betray the daughter. Oh, yeah. Don't worry about yesterday's. This is today at the bottom.
Miss, why do you put the X at the father's?
Oh,
La comida
because,
del
so it's
papá.
plural.
La comida del papá.
His father's food, Miss Tague's lunch, Wendell's hat. It's like, you have to put the S.
Well, no, you know this. It's the possessive. In English, we do not use de, right? We use apostrophe s. You know this.
He
Possessive.
knows.
Okay. All right, let's keep reading.
Ah.
Copy that down. Now it says, I ran,
No,
and we're
pero
on
ya
111. I ran to get some soup, and I brought it to my father. But he did not want it. All he wanted was water. Don't drink water, eat the soup. I'm burning up. Why are you so mean to me, Zayas? My son, water. I brought him water. Then I left the block for roll call, but I quickly turned back.
Sorry, Chris. We're ready.
No.
No, not this part. It's similar, but not this part. Stay with me, you'll see. I'm burning up. Why are you so mean to me, my son? Water. I brought him water. Then I left the block for roll call, but I quickly turned back. I lay down on my upper bunk. The sick were allowed to stay in the block, so I would be sick. I didn't want to leave my father. All of me, there was silence now, broken only by moaning. In front of the block, the SS were giving orders, page 111. An officer passed between the bunks. My father was pleading. My son, water, I'm burning up, my insides. Silence over there, barked the officer. Eliza, continued my father, water. The officer came closer and shouted to him to be silent, but my father did not hear. He continued to call me. The officer wielded his club and dealt him a violent blow to the head. Stop. What did the officer do to his father?
Beat him up.
Yeah, he hit him in the head, right? I didn't move.
But
I
what?
was afraid.
Well, why?
What?
Porque
Oh, it says, Wendell said with what? What did the officer hit his dad with? A,
El martillo.
let's try. Yeah, a club. It's like a baseball bat, right? I didn't move. Like a bat. Few steaks that I didn't move. I was afraid. My body, okay. I didn't move and I was afraid. My body was afraid of another blow, this time to my head. My father groaned once more. I heard Eliza. I could still see that he was breathing in gasps. I didn't move. Next page, 112. 112. When I came down from my bunk after roll call, I could see his lips trembling. He was murmuring something. I remained more than an hour leaning over him, looking at him, etching his bloody, broken face into my mind. Then I had to go to sleep. I climbed into my bunk above my father, who was still alive. The date was January 28, 1945. I woke up at dawn on January 29th. On my father's cot or bed, there lay another, a different sick person. They must have taken him away before the daybreak and taken him to the crematorium. Perhaps he was still breathing. No prayers were said over his tomb. No candle lit in his memory. Page 112. His last word had been my name. He had called out to me, and I had not answered. Stop. Is that like betrayal? Yeah. It's another example of the son betraying him. Okay. And deep inside, if I could have searched the I did not weep, and it pained me that I could not weep or cry. But I was out of tears. And deep inside me, if I could have searched the recesses of my feeble conscience, I might have found something like free at last. Top of 113, Gregory. I remained in Buchenwald, the camp, until April 11th. I shall not describe my life during that period. It no longer mattered. Since my father's death, nothing mattered to me anymore. I was transferred to the children's block, where there were 600 of us. The front was coming closer. Stop. Any guesses about who the front is?
Free.
Yeah, they're going to free.
The other
What?
team. The Americans.
Yeah, it's the Russians who are going to free them.
Oh yeah, the Russians.
Yeah, Wanda helped us. They're going to free them. So the front was coming closer. I spent my days in total idleness with only one desire, to eat. Yeah. I no longer thought of my father or my mother. From time to time, I would dream, but only about soup, an extra ration of soup, 113 at the bottom. On April 5th, the wheel of history turned. It was late afternoon. We were standing inside the block, waiting for an SS to come out and count us. He was late. Such lateness was unprecedented in the history of Buchenwald. Something must have happened. 2 hours later, the loudspeakers transmitted an order from the camp commandant. All Jews were to gather in the Appelplatz. Next page, 114. Let's see what happens. This was the end. Hitler was about to keep his promise. The children of our block did as we were ordered. There was no choice. Gustav, the blockhead, or leader, he made it clear with his club. But on our way, we met some prisoners who whispered to us, "Go back to your block. The Germans plan to shoot you. Go back and don't move." We returned to the block. On our way there, we learned that the underground resistance of the camp had made the decision not to abandon the Jews and to prevent their liquidation. Liquidation is like the destroying of. So it's like the Americans, the Russians, people hadn't forgotten about the Jews. They still wanted to beat the Germans and maybe rescue the Jews. As it was getting late and the confusion was great, countless Jews had been passing as non-Jews. The Lager Casti had decided that a general roll call would take place the next day. Everybody would have to be present. The roll call took place. The Lager commandant announced that the Buchenwald camp would be liquidated or destroyed. 10 blocks of inmates would be evacuated every day. From that moment on, there was no further distribution of bread and soup, and the evacuation began. Every day, a few thousand inmates or prisoners passed the camp's gates and did not return. On April 10th, there were still some 20,000 prisoners in the camp, along with them a few hundred children. It was decided to evacuate all of us at once, by evening. Afterward, they would blow up the whole camp. Stop. So, are the Germans still in control of the Jews?
No.
Yeah.
They are. The Jews are still being controlled by the Germans. And so, we were herded onto the huge Appelplatz in ranks of 5, waiting for the gates of the camp to open. Suddenly, the sirens began to scream, "Alert!" We went back to the blocks. It was too late to evacuate us that evening in Isel. The evacuation was postponed to the next day. Hunger was tormenting us. We had not eaten for nearly 6 days, except for a few stalks of grass and some potato peels found on the ground and from the kitchens. At 10 o'clock in the morning, the SS took position throughout the camp and began to herd the last of us toward the Appelplatz. Right? They're still in control of the Germans. The resistance movement decided that to act at that point. Armed men appeared from everywhere. Bursts of gunshots, grenades exploding. We, the children, remained flat on the floor of the block. The battle did not last long. Around noon, everything was calm again. The SS soldiers had fled, and the resistance had taken charge of the camp. I know. At 6 o'clock that afternoon, the first American tank stood at the gates of Buchenwald, Zayas. Greg. So, the Americans came. Were they just freed by the Americans?
Who knows?
No.
Zayas? Yeah, the resistance, yes. And it says the first American tank came. Right, Zayas? So, they were just freed by the Americans. Okay? Our first act as free men was to throw ourselves onto the provisions.
They were freed by the resistance.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
They fled. The Americans brought food, but they're freed by the resistance.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, thank you, Mr. Day. The Americans were bringing the food, but it was the resistance who freed them. So on our first act as free men, it was to throw ourselves onto the provisions or the food. That's all we thought about. No thought of revenge or of our parents, only bread. And even
What page are we on?
115. And even when we were no longer hungry, not one of us thought of revenge. The next day, a few of the young men ran into Weimar, like a city, to bring some back potatoes and clothes, and to sleep with girls. But no trace of revenge still, Zayas. 3 days after the liberation of Buchenwald, I became very ill. Some form of poisoning. I was transferred to a hospital and spent 2 weeks between life and death. One day when I was able to get up, I decided to look at myself in the mirror on the opposite wall. I had not seen myself since the ghetto. From the depths of the mirror, a corpse was contemplating me. The look in his eyes that gazed at me has never left me. What's a corpse again?
Dead body.
Said I looked in the mirror, a corpse looked back. The look in his eyes has never left me. The look in whose eyes?
On Elijah.
His own face was a dead body.
Yeah.
Said the corpse was staring at me.
Yeah.
Hey, Zion.
Yeah.
Guys, what do we think of the ending?
I was expecting more.
Fantastic?
For me, I was expecting another thing.
Alright, friends, I know that I have been talking a ton, but
Ahora,
2 more minutes of your time.
Don't tell me that.
I've learned a lot from you guys this year. Okay, I might cry, but it's gonna be okay.
no,
Hey,
woman,
that's
no
your list.
cry.
So here are a few things that I've learned.
Actually.
Stay with me. Is that I know a lot of Manuel songs. I like to listen to him when I'm not in school. I know a lot of words.
Ahora,
I like Halo K. I say that a lot and know a lot of music, which is awesome. When I came in here September, I was like, what's that? Didn't know anything. Thank you. For example.
pensando en ti.
Yeah. Okay. I've learned about China. I've learned about Chinese food.
Oh, Panuel.
And how a lot of Chinese people don't love like super sugary sweets. Cami, every day I'm like, what's for lunch? And she says different types of rice. So I've learned about culture. And then I just really think you guys are awesome. It's my first year teaching high school and I have done a lot of things poorly. I've done some good things, but you guys have had patience with me. I appreciate that. It's been a privilege to teach you all. And I think that you guys, from the stories you've told me, have experienced some hard moments. But you come to school every day and you want to learn and you want to do well. And that just tells me like, there is hope. And I think that you guys are great. I think you guys are all going to do really, really well. And you're going to be successful. I think you guys are a really special group of people. So teaching you has really been a privilege, and I'm grateful. So that's all I have. And our student of the week this week.
Andres.
Wait, one second, turn it up.
Tú.
Turn it up. Our student of the week is someone, just turn it up and it. Stop it.